Okay, so I'm going to start again from the beginning, although we took the basics yesterday, but I'll just start again from the beginning. So module 1 is talking about preparing for Office 365, and maybe I should also talk about some other objectives that we're going to be covering. Let me launch. Can you still see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, you can see managing Office 365 identities.
No, that is still the PowerPoint that is on display.
Okay. Let me stop that one and share another one. All right, so this is the new screen now. These are the objectives that we're going to be covering. So you can see module 1 is preparing for Office 365. Module 2 is managing user group and licenses. Module 3, administering Office 365. Module 4 talks about managing and planning clients. That's the Office clients, the Word, Excel, Outlook, those client application, how to roll it out, to people's computer. And module 5 talks about DNS and Exchange. Exchange is a mailing application used to send mail in an enterprise environment. So there is Exchange Online too. When we want to set up Exchange, there are a few DNS configuration that we need to make. So here we'll look at those under module 6. Module 7 is talking about Exchange Online proper now. So here we'll look at some configuration of Exchange Online. We'll talk about things such as policies that we can create on Exchange Online, how we can set up. Okay, the connectivity dropped. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So I was talking about administering Exchange Online. So Exchange Online, we will be looking at things like if a user receives a mail and that mail contains spam, how do we tidy up the content of the email? So there are a few configurations that we can set on the Exchange server side. That's the Exchange Online server side to handle those kind of things. There are a number of other things that we're going to be doing there. Then we will move next to module 8, which is about configuring SharePoint Online. So SharePoint is an application that we can use to do a lot of things. We can use it for document management. We can use it for searching, for searching documents, for searching people. We can use it as a learning management solution. We can use it to orchestrate business processes. So there are a number of things we can use SharePoint for. So we'll just learn about some basics of SharePoint. Then we'll move to talk about Link Online, but this is no longer called Link. So the name has changed twice after this time. After Link, we had Skype for Business. And after Skype for Business now, there is Teams, Microsoft Teams. So the latest one is Microsoft Teams that we're going to be learning about. Then we look at implementing directory synchronization. So directory synchronization is a scenario. It's useful for an organization with an Active Directory service on premises. They have Active Directory in their own organization. And if they are moving to the cloud, there's also Active Directory in the cloud. So if they want to create a synergy between the two, between the Active Directory they have in the cloud and the Active Directory they have on premises, there's a tool that they have to run. So the tool is called AD Connect. And the end result is that is going to sync, the AD that they have on-prem with the AD that they have that is in the cloud. So leading to what is called directory synchronization. So we'll walk through how to do directory synchronization in module 10. And module 11 and 12, they are optional modules. So even if you don't get to touch them, so I can just leave you to look up those on your own. But if time permits, maybe we might just as well look at that. So federation service, you use federation service to establish connectivity with partner organization. You have some partner and you need them to come into your tenant, or you need them to come into your network. When they come into your network, what aspect of your network can they have access to, and what level of access would they have on your network? So ADFS is used to define all those things. And the last one talks about monitoring Office 365. As administrators now, we need to, from time to time, help our organization monitor their O365 subscription, so that we're sure that we're getting the maximum benefit for the money that we're paying for Microsoft for consuming O365 services. So there are places we can go to do all of this monitoring. So in a nutshell, these are the objectives that we're going to be covering for this course. There's another one after this course. So this one is called 2346. There's another code is 2347. So it's an advance of this particular course here. So we'll just we'll start proper now with the course. But I don't know if there are any questions before I continue with the other slide.
Oh my, sorry.
Okay, Mustafa, are there any questions from your end?
No.
Okay. So this is module 1 now. Module 1, preparing for O365. And these are the objectives here, what we will be looking at in this module 1. We'll look at introduction to O365, provisioning tenant accounts, and how to do something called piloting, and wrap up with connectivity, client connectivity. So we will get to it. So maybe I should start with cloud computing. What cloud computing is. The way we're used to saving our files before cloud computing is that anytime we want to save a file, we need to have a computer, to use in saving that file. So that if I want to save my personal files now, I'm going to either copy it to a device, copy it to maybe an external drive, copy it to a flash, copy it from my mobile phone to my computer. So I'm saving it on my computer. Or if I work in a corporate environment, a well-structured corporate environment, we have servers that does different things for them. Maybe one server doing accounting, so it's the accounting server. They will have another server where they store files. So anytime they want to store files, they will just connect that server to store it there. When they want to retrieve their files, they will connect to that server to retrieve their files from that server. So now the challenge, the shortcoming associated with that kind of computing style is that when people are not in the workplace, they give excuse that because I'm not at work, so I can't work. My files is on my computer and my computer is at work. My file is on the server and I have my computer with me. So I need to be at the office to retrieve my files from the server, or I need to get to my system to retrieve my files so that I can work. So some of those limitations now is what cloud computing, has come to mitigate. So with cloud computing, by the way, does not necessarily, it doesn't mean that we have computers in the cloud, this literal cloud. No. It means cloud providers such as Microsoft, Amazon, Heroku, Rackspace, Main One. There are a number of cloud providers, right? So those cloud providers, they've gone through the trouble of setting up data centers. Data center, they've set up infrastructures where those infrastructure has been equipped with servers, good networking in place, all those tools that we need to get our business up and running. They have, embedded it into those data centers that they've built. So what it means is that when we need to consume any service, we don't need to start setting up servers. What we just do is look up any cloud provider of our choice, pay them monthly fees, and then we can continue to consume that service. So you see that with cloud computing now, it doesn't matter where you are, to get work done. You can be at home and be working. You can be in traffic and be working. Most especially, people in Lagos, traffic is second nature, to them. So it's nice if they can, inculcate cloud computing. So it doesn't, when they are in traffic, all they need is internet access on their mobile phone or on their computer, and they can continue to get work done. So these are some of the challenges that cloud computing, is helping us solve, is helping us mitigate, right? So I don't know if is that clear enough? Okay. Okay, so I will proceed. Components of O365, Office 365, Office 365. The aspect of cloud computing that we're learning is Microsoft Cloud Computing. Microsoft Cloud Computing. And we're learning Office 365. So when we talk about Office 365, there are some core components of O365 that we need to learn. Core component of O365, which is the meat, the core of this course. That's what we're going to be learning in this course. So the component that we're going to be learning, which are the services of O365, that is major services of O365, include Exchange Online, Exchange Online, Exchange Online. So Exchange Online is an email application, an enterprise email application. So it means that with Exchange Online, when an organization is using Exchange Online, when they send email, Exchange Online is going to be responsible for sending their emails for them. When they receive emails, it comes through Exchange Online to their mailbox. So there are aspects of it that require management. We need to set up Exchange Online for our users to be able to do their work, for our users to be able to send emails. I mean, email in every organization is mission critical. So without email, people can't get work done. People cannot be productive without email. So we're going to be learning all those different aspects of Exchange configuration in this course. So that's one major component of O365. Another component is SharePoint Online. SharePoint. Now, SharePoint.
Before you continue,
Yes.
the Exchange Online.
Okay.
What state it as part of requirement for someone for let's say business enterprises that want to implement or an organization that want to use they want can't they just use their normal email? What is different? What benefit does the exchange give priority over the normal email that people are using?
Okay. When we want to use any solution at all, we need to weigh its pros and cons. We need to look at
Yes.
The competition in the market, and we also need to consider pricing. We need to consider going with an application that is very stable, right? And yes, so when we're thinking stability, all those things that I've mentioned now, stability, support in case we have issues. There are other emailing application. A very popular one is Gmail, for instance, that people use. People
Yes.
have their own individual Gmail accounts, but in the
Yes.
enterprise, in the workplace, people don't use individual email accounts. You use the corporate email. If the organization name is, let's call it Icon Systems, for instance, it doesn't make sense for any worker from Icon System to be sending email out to customer, and he's using maybe Kazim is one staff that work for Icon System, and he wants to send a mail to a customer from a particular bank. Let's call the bank maybe Zenith Bank, and I'm sending email. Kazim is sending email with his personal email. He's sending mail as kazim@gmail.com. Come on, they would most likely disregard that kind of mail. What kind of business is these people running? They can't even have a corporate email that will read the name of their organization. You get the picture.
Yeah.
So an organization will want to set up a mail that will carry their domain name. It should be like Kazim at iconsystems.com. Yes, they know, okay, so that's a corporate email. So still, Gmail offers that service. That service now from Gmail is not free. We know individual email is free, but anytime you want to do corporate stuff like that, yes, you will need to pay. Even Gmail, Google, you need to pay them certain amount to be able to do that. So you have the choice now of choosing between that one. There are other providers, or you also go with Exchange, right? So Exchange as an email, or Microsoft as an email company, or let me use Exchange Server. Exchange Server as an email application server is something that has been around from a very long time, from the days of 2000. There was this Exchange 2000, Exchange 2003. There had been different versions after 2000. In fact, it started with Exchange 55.
No.
From Exchange 55 to Exchange 2000, from 2000 to Exchange 2003, 2007, 2010, 2013, 2016, and now we're having 2019. So you can see that Exchange Server is not a baby product. It's a product that has been around for a very long time. So going with those kind of products, you have this level of confidence, with this kind of products that this product is not a product that is going to disappoint you, right? So
Yes.
that's the good thing about it. And another very cool thing about it is the fact that it's coming as a feature of O365. So when a business subscribes for O365, they are able to use certain services of O365. So it doesn't mean they are using just O365. No, O365 is just a tag name. It's an umbrella name. Under that umbrella name, there are different services now that people can consume. So which Exchange is just one of them. Yes. So you see, Exchange is one of them. Whereas if they are not doing O365, if an organization just want to set up email server. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, we're on.
Okay, so I'm still audible, right?
Yeah, I don't know of Idris.
Okay, then maybe it's network. But we'll just go on then. Can you hear now?
Yeah. I can hear you now. I can hear you now.
Okay. So I said, if a business wants to set up an email server, they will need to buy, if they want this Exchange server, if it's not O365, they need to buy server.
Yes.
After server, they will buy Windows Server license. They will buy Exchange server license. They will buy client access server license. So all these things cost money. But with O365, they just pay. a certain amount per user. So the way it works, in fact, let me show you something real quick. I'll go onto the internet. I'll stop sharing this. Okay, so can you see my browser?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yes.
good. Okay, so I'm going to go to, okay, we're doing, so let me go to bing.com. From bing.com, I'm going to do, okay, Office 365. Plans. Okay, so you can see compare all Office products, and you know, that link is there. So these are the plans now of Office 365. So you see, you can still see the plans?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so you can see there are different plans. There is Office Pro Plus. Just this one is just Office Pro Plus, and the way they calculate it is the number of users. You need to calculate number of users and multiply it with the amount times 12. That is, you cannot, yes, it's charged per month. You know, for instance, this, if you're going with this first plan here, you pay $12 per user per month. So if you have 100 users in your workplace, or you have five, let's say 5 users in the workplace, it means you will do 12 times 5, right, per month. But
Yeah.
the commitment from Microsoft has to be 1 year. It can't be 1 month, minimum of 1 year commitment. So it means you multiply this figure times the number of users, which is 5 in this example, times 12, right, to arrive at a figure in dollars. And you now need to convert it to naira. So you do times 365, you know, to convert it, or whatever, you know, the dollar rate is, to be able to get the amount in naira. So these are the different plans. Now this one is $12. This particular one here, E1 plan, is $8. You can see E3 is $20. E5 is $35. So it depends on the services. Now this plan, if I go with E5, there are certain things that E5 can do that E3 cannot do. There are features that E3 can do that E1 cannot do. Okay, so if I scroll down, you'll see some of the things that it can do. You know, this first one just has Office and then OneDrive. This second one has Office, Exchange, OneDrive, and SharePoint, right? The third one has some other additional services. So that's how it works basically. So the different plan, is that clear enough now? Are we clear with the plans?
Yeah.
It's clear, it's clear.
Okay. So that's Exchange, that's SharePoint. I said SharePoint is used for collaboration. It is a tool that allows people to collaborate. For instance, when I mean collaboration, I mean you have users in the workplace, and they have file that they've uploaded somewhere, and somebody else need to work on the same file. It's possible for people to connect to the same place, work on that same file. User A can make comment to the file, user B can log in, make comment to the same file, user C can log in, make comment to the same file, user D can log in and say, I want to see a snapshot of the file, how the file was as the last 3 months ago, as the last 6 months ago. So you can do that with SharePoint, right? So SharePoint is a tool that allows us to do a lot of things. So I guess I'll just keep the story for later. So we'll talk more about SharePoint when we get to the segment, the SharePoint section. Link is a tool that we use for instant messaging, just like we're used to doing with WhatsApp now. So we chat, you look people up, you chat them, or they chat you back. So when they type something, you get it almost instantaneously. You get those messages on the fly, in real time, right? So with Link, it's also similar to that. You can do chatting. That's one of the things you can do with Link. But not just chatting, you can also do voice call. So just like we use our phone to call, when we use our phone to call, the phone providers are going to charge us. You will need to buy credit on your phone to be able to use your phone to dial out numbers. But the cool thing with Link is that when you already have internet and you have Link, then you can call people that are on the Link platform for free. So it's more like using your internet, that internet that you're paying for, you're using it to its maximum. You're using it to dial people, right? So that's another thing it can do. In fact, it can also be configured to even dial external numbers, to dial GSM lines, right? So the Link is an old product. Since the time of Link, there has been several improvements on this product. So the new name is not called Link. After Link, we've had Skype for Business, and there's still Skype for Business now. What Microsoft did was that, there's Skype. I don't know if you know Skype. Do you know the normal Skype?
Yes.
Aha,
Just like Imo.
just that, very well. Everybody knows it. You want to do meeting, you want to call people for cheap, you have internet on your phone. Imagine if you have somebody abroad and you want to call them and you load credit on your phone. Do you know how much you are going to be spending to call? That's going to be a lot of money to call people abroad. Likewise, even here too, we want to place calls. To call people, those local calls, so they are not very cheap. But we can leverage on tools such as Skype for Business to call. So I have internet on my phone. I've done my maybe 1 month subscription of 2,000 or 1,005. And those people over there have internet too as well. So I can just call them. They will just need to have Skype. I'll ask them for their Skype for Business ID. They know my Skype for Business ID. Then we can begin to call ourselves using internet without credit. So which is cheap. It's cheaper, right? So that's another thing Skype for Business does. So what Microsoft did with Link was that after some time, they acquired Skype. So they own Skype now. So what they did with the Link product was that they rebranded it and came up with a new name called Skype for Business. Whereas they still maintain the normal Skype. So the normal Skype is still free for people. But now in the enterprise, if you buy 0365, what you are going to get is not the normal Skype, but you will get Skype for Business, right? So that's Skype for Business. But after Skype for Business, now we have Teams, Microsoft Teams. So the new one now is Microsoft Teams. So Microsoft Teams allows us to set up meetings. It allows us to collaborate. It allows us to chat. It allows us to call, right? So that's what this product does. And we're going to be learning about it too as well. The beauty about IT, you see, is that IT is such that people necessarily don't even need to have computer science background to come into IT. There are a lot of people that maybe studied law. Some people will study political science, and what is they just they have a flair for IT, so they start doing IT. So that's IT for us. We don't necessarily need to have that background to come into IT. So it doesn't matter. I mean, once you know how to set up Exchange, you know how to set up Exchange, and you can start working and be an Exchange administrator. So just that, some of these things I understand that maybe for Malam Mustafa at the moment, my sound a little bit mumbo jumbo, but don't worry. Inshallah, I'm very sure. I'm very positive that if you give it some bit of time, we will be able to follow through. Okay, we also have some people online. Francis and Dayo is online as well. Francis, are you here with us? Okay, so I can't get him to talk. So no problem. So we'll just continue. And the last service now of 0365 is this Office Pro Plus. The Office Pro Plus is a tool that we use to, is the normal Office that we know, the normal. Okay, I think there's a noise from Dayo. Hello, Dayo. Okay, so he has placed himself on mute. Okay, so the Office Pro Plus is the normal Office that we know, the normal Microsoft Office. But the difference here, the Office that has Microsoft Word, Excel, PowerPoint, that's the normal Office that we know. The difference with Office Pro Plus is that this one is Office in the cloud. Office in the cloud, meaning that this Office is not the one those ones that we're used to buying. If I buy Office now for my system, after installing it on my system, I'm not allowed to share it with others, right? If I share it, I'll be violating Microsoft, Microsoft copyright laws. So I'm not allowed to do that, and I would not even be able to do it except I cheat, maybe get some kind of crack to crack it. But with this Office in the cloud, you cannot even do that. You can't cheat. So once you have a user license for O365, it's just that user. And you cannot say once you have the license, I'll just pay for 1 month and I'll start using it without paying again. No. Sorry, the session is going to disconnect in less than a minute. So if it does, you can kindly just reconnect back. I'll connect again so we can wrap up, the session for today. So, but we'll just continue. So the Office Pro Plus, once you have the license, a user will need to connect to the internet at least once every month to keep the subscription valid. If you don't connect once in a month, then it will go into what is called RFM mode, reduced functionality mode. And reduced functionality mode is a scenario where you will not be able to use your Microsoft Word to edit documents. You can only use it to print and to view documents. That's all you're going to get. So these are the 4 core services of O365.